Years passed within the sacred courts of Jerusalem. The child who had once climbed the temple stairs with unwavering determination had now become a young woman. At 14 years of age, Mary was known throughout the temple for her purity, wisdom, and devotion. Day after day, she dedicated herself to the service of God. She prayed within the holy courts, studied the sacred teachings, and carried out her duties with humility and grace. According to this ancient account, heaven itself watched over her. It was said that angels ministered to her unseen, surrounding her with divine protection and guidance. As the years passed, Mary's reputation grew among all who knew her. No accusation could be brought against her character. Priests, maidens, and worshippers alike admired her devotion, kindness, and steadfast faith. Yet a moment was approaching that would change the course of her life forever. According to the customs of the people, the time had come for the young women dedicated to the temple to return to their families and prepare for marriage. The high priest therefore gathered the virgins before him and announced that those who had reached maturity should now leave the temple and enter the next stage of life. One by one, the young women accepted the instruction without objection. Then the high priest turned his attention to Mary. To the surprise of everyone present, she did not agree. Instead, she respectfully declared that she could not obey the command. A murmur spread through the assembly. The gathered priests and maidens listened in astonishment as Mary explained her decision. Her parents, she said, had dedicated her to the service of the Lord even before her birth. Furthermore, she herself had made a sacred vow before God. She had vowed to remain a virgin, wholly devoted to the Lord, and she could not break the promise she had made. Mary's words left the temple in stunned silence. The priests exchanged uneasy glances, uncertain how to proceed. The high priest found himself caught between two sacred responsibilities. On one hand, he dared not disregard a vow made to God. On the other, he dared not create a new custom unknown among the people. The matter was too important to be decided by human judgment alone. Recognizing the seriousness of the situation, the leading men of Jerusalem and the surrounding regions were summoned to consider the question. The elders gathered in council and discussed the matter carefully. Yet the longer they deliberated, the more difficult the problem seemed. Finally, one of the elders spoke. "This matter is beyond human wisdom." Another immediately agreed. "We must seek the counsel of God." The assembly accepted the proposal. Together they united in prayer, asking the Lord to reveal His will concerning the young virgin. Following the sacred practice handed down through generations, the high priest entered the holy sanctuary to seek divine guidance. The chamber was illuminated only by the light of sacred lamps. There, in reverent silence, he knelt before the Lord. "O Lord God of Israel," he prayed, "show us your will." For a moment, nothing happened. Then suddenly, a brilliant light filled the sanctuary. The darkness vanished before a radiance unlike anything seen on earth. And throughout the temple, a powerful voice was heard. "The virgin shall be entrusted according to the prophecy." Outside the sanctuary, priests and attendants heard the heavenly declaration and fell to their knees in awe. Then the voice continued, "There shall come forth a rod from the stem of Jesse, and a flower shall spring from its root, and the Spirit of the Lord shall rest upon it." As suddenly as it had come, the voice ceased. Silence returned to the sanctuary, but the answer had been given. The elders quickly recognized the words. They came from the prophecy of Isaiah. The chosen man would not be selected by debate, tradition, or human decision. God Himself would reveal him through a sign from heaven. The high priest therefore issued a command throughout the land. Every unmarried descendant of David was to come before the Lord. Each man was to bring a rod. Messengers departed Jerusalem in every direction, carrying the summons across towns, villages, and distant settlements. Soon, the descendants of David began arriving at the temple. From near and far they came, carrying their staffs and presenting themselves before the Lord. Young men and old men alike gathered within the temple courts. One by one, their rods were placed before the altar. Then the high priest stood before the assembly and declared that God himself would choose the guardian of the virgin. According to the sign revealed from heaven, one rod would blossom, and upon that rod the Spirit of God would descend in the form of a dove. The man's rod received this sign would become the guardian and betrothed of Mary. As evening settled over Jerusalem, a solemn silence filled the temple courts. Rows of rods rested before the altar. Priests, elders, and citizens waited in anticipation. All Jerusalem seemed to hold its breath. Which man would heaven choose? Whose rod would blossom? And who would be entrusted with the care of the young virgin destined for an extraordinary role in God's plan? The answer was near, yet for the moment it remained hidden. And so the people waited for the sign from heaven.